Good morning, and welcome to Dad Bear DIY and our Dad Bear Downtime chapter. And today we are going to go over Space Engineers for people who just got the game. Recently, my brother Bear picked up this game. Like many of us when we started playing this game, kind of had really no idea what to do. Uh, and I've been playing this game for a long time. The game initially came out in 2013 as an early release or early access, and then it actually hit full beta 2015, and it wasn't fully released until 2019. But the math is pretty simple. This game's been around for 10 years, being as it's 2023 now, and a lot of things have changed. So I thought about sending him a link to some of the tutorial videos that I had originally looked at when I started playing the game to get familiar with the game and how to use it and what kind of mechanics there were. And I realized very quickly that so many things have changed in this game that even the main menu options don't look similar. So I actually thought it would be more confusing to show some of those initial how-to videos um, than to perhaps put something together myself. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from the main screen here. We are going to start a new game using one of the pre-built scenarios that come in the game. And we're just going to go over the basics of how to get started. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put it up, and um, I hope you guys get something out of it. This gameplay video thing is still new to me, so there may be mistakes along the way. And I just hope you'll be patient with me. I appreciate you stopping by, though. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like the content that we're putting out, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so that you can be informed when we put anything new out. This is a part of the Dad Bear Downtime side, which is basically things I'm doing when I'm not working on projects. The heat this year has made it real hard to work on stuff outdoors. So I still try to keep my creative juices and builder urges alive, usually by playing Space Engineers. So this game has been released on PC. It has now, this year, it was also finally released for PlayStation and Xbox. I have not played this game on either console. I know there are differences. Um, so I am going to try to bear that in mind as I'm explaining things, but understand the user interfaces may be different. So what you see me do, by point and clicking with a mouse, may not be the way that it's done on an Xbox or a PlayStation console. So with that little caveat out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So when you start the game, you get the main menu here. The first thing I recommend doing if you're playing a game you've never played before is go into your options. And for game, we'll start at the top, general information, set your language, building mode. Okay. This is more for how you want to be able, as you can see here, this selects the default block placement mode. This is only effective in creative mode. Creative mode is not what we're going to be going over today. We're going to be talking about a survival game. Creative mode is when you just want to build and invent stuff, where you don't have to worry about health, any of your resources, power management, any of that kind of stuff. You don't have to worry about it. That's your creative canvas, okay? Survival is different. Um, it puts requirements, it puts limitations on things and whatnot. Building mode, this strictly applies to when you are playing in creative mode. Experimental mode. As you can see, it says there, enable experimental mode to unlock unofficial and not fully developed and tested features yet. You may experience problems. I have never played this without having experimental mode enabled. So just leave it on. Just leave it on. Control hints. If it shows on-screen control hints during gameplay, so if you come up to an item that can be interacted with, it may put a message up there that says, you know, hit this key to interact with whatnot. So if you're not familiar with the controls, it's a good thing to have selected at the beginning. In fact, I'll go ahead and throw that on there so that we'll see that as if it was first time playing it. I have recently started turning that off just to declutter my screen. Good bot hints. These will show up in the chat window. I did turn this off very early in my playing experience, just because it didn't take me that long to pick up the information that they were putting out, so I turned it off. You probably don't need that at the beginning. You can always come back and turn it on if you want to see what, you know, what it has to say, and it does scroll through things, and if you've been playing for a while, it'll be putting out less hints. If you want to start it over again, you know, you can enable good bot hints, and then you can hit reset it, and it will like go back to the beginning like it thinks you're brand new. So rotation hints shows HUD rotation hints during building. Never used this, so I don't really have any amplifying information for that. Enable Steam Cloud. Whether synchronization with Steam Cloud should be enabled or not, I've always got this on. I'm on PC. I am synced with Steam, so it's always on. I don't play many multiplayer games, so enabling trading, I could probably turn it off. But I do occasionally play multiplayer games with, you know, not so much multiplayer PvP, but as in like cooperative whatnot. So I'd leave that on for those rare times when I'm playing that. This GDPR consent agreement, you will need to, that's an agreement, you know, to privacy policy according to GDPR. And then you've got your mod.io consent. That's if you use mod.io. I don't think I've ever used mod.io. Of course, I'm on PC. Mod.io was really kind of brought into the picture to help those on console be able to use mods that were generated. And you'll have to sign that too. You only have to do it once. And I've never had an issue since signing those. I've never run into any inconsistencies or performance issues. You know, it's legitimate. Area interaction. I guess that just, you know, the precision of your crosshairs. You can leave that checked. Blueprint share. You can leave this on for right now if I can't really imagine a reason why you would turn this off, but anyway, that's there. Okay, so that's your general game options, user interface. This is real basic stuff. You know, do you want to show crosshairs? You want it visible, always visible, or always hidden? Iron sight switch state, toggle, hold, okay. Select hit type. Yeah, yeah. select hit type. You can set up crosshairs, look for each hit types. Okay, I've never messed with this. You can change your crosshair color. This is the saturation. This is the value. Transparency values. Now, when you change your, when you set basically what color you want your crosshair to be, and then you change your saturation and your value levels here, it will generate this hex code. If you find a color that you really like, write that code down, and then anytime you want to use that color in customizable color place, you can just type in that number and it will automatically put that in. Your user interface scale, how big you want, how much of it you want of your screen you want to take up. The opacity changes, whether it's semi-transparent or not. The background opacity and the HUD background opacity. So this is just basic stuff, okay? I'm not changing any of this information, so I'm hitting cancel. Going into your display, make sure that I almost always play in full screen. I don't know many people that don't. Your video mode. I don't tend to mess with this a lot. And screenshot size multiplier. I don't take screenshots that often, but every now and then I do. And these have a description here. Okay. Make sure it's what you want. Your graphics, make sure your graphics are set high depending on your platform. You can set field of view, 70 degrees is usually pretty good. Grass draw distance. Grass, I don't know if grass is that big of a deal. I know when it comes to trees, I've dropped this down. It has sped up my load time a little bit. It doesn't take quite as long for everything to complete loading once the game is in. I think you'll see what we're talking about, because your game will load, and then you'll have this transition period when it goes from the loading screen to actual play. And in that period, you'll have, your surroundings will come up. Your HUD won't be available yet. The details of the voxels might be low for a moment before they come into full resolution. You tend to get less hiccups in the game as you're moving around and doing things if the game isn't having to display trees, or forests of trees long distances away. So this is where I've kept it. Hasn't really had too much of a, I think at one point it was at 15,000 meters. That's 15 kilometers, which is basically your horizon. And it was just needless performance drag, I guess. So I started backing it down. I want to say I had it at 7,000. I see I've got it here at 3. No big deal. Ambient occlusion. Darken the areas that are less exposed to ambient light, so the shadow type stuff. Enable particle effects for damaged blocks. Post-processing of bloom, vignette, chromatic aberration, and washes the visor up. Okay, so that's just clean. Again, you can see here that my quality, I do not use preset. You have low, medium, high, and custom. I came in and my computer, or GeForce set everything to extreme. I didn't need that, so I dropped stuff down, and I haven't had an issue. Again, this may only be a PC part, but make sure you go through, and if you start to experience any performance issues, go into your graphics and do this. The music isn't bad in Space Engineers, but for taping purposes, I turn the music down. Um, I've also turned the sound volume down, just because I found out that I talk like Bob Ross, it seems like, when I'm on these video recordings. So just to make it easier to hear me, I turn the sound volume down, just as you see fit. Enable voice chat. I leave this checked on. Like I said, I hardly play multiplayer or co-op, but and I don't use push to talk. I don't use this. I've never had an issue with it. Doppler effect, ship-based sounds, contextual music, HUD warnings. This is just, when you get low oxygen or HUD and that kind of stuff. So adjust as you see fit. Now here's the reason why I actually started going into this options menu. If you've never played this game before, if you've never played any game before, one of the first things you should do is go in and look at the controls. Okay? Mouse sensitivity. Do you like to invert your mouse's y-axis? I do. So, go in, make it comfortable for what you normally play with. This is not, for me, controller. I don't use a controller. I use keyboard and mouse. Movement. And this is where you get your keys. Okay? And while it's similar, I would say this is, a standard keyboard layout for the type of game this is. Maybe you've got another game that you've played that you've become very accustomed to what keys do certain things. This is where you can go in and change it. Okay? So your movement, WSAD, rotate left, rotate right. This rotate left, right, up, and down, that's the arrow keys, but it's also, that's how you look around. Your mouse is also how you look around. Sometimes it is beneficial to use the arrow keys. Sometimes it's not. Most of the time you're using the mouse. There are times when I specifically use the arrow keys. Rolling left and right. When we're talking about vehicles, aircraft, spacecraft, however you want to call it, the governing body is physics, guys. And it might, when you're in a vehicle moving, it's good to know what pitch, yaw, and roll is. Okay? Pitch is whether you're moving up or down. So think of the nose of a plane moving up and down. Yaw is side to side, so that's left and right. And then roll, of course, is roll. You're going to roll or bank to the left, bank to the right. So hold the sprint. Go through these, learn them, or get familiar with them. So your system interaction, and then come down and check your system interactions. Okay, so using a tool and firing a weapon, left mouse button. Secondary mode, right mouse button. So secondary mode for firing a weapon, you shoot by using the left mouse button. You hold the gun up to look through the sights by using the right. Okay, so that's your aim button. And then for tools, there are some secondary modes, but we can talk about that a little bit later. That's a part more about build planner than anything else. Reloading your gun. If you're going to use or interact with something, it's typically the F key. Your helmet has a face mask. If you're in an oxygen-rich environment, you do not have to have your face mask closed. But if you are not in an oxygen-rich environment, or in space, on a moon, a hazardous area, underwater, you need to have it down. That's J. Jetpack, X. Inertial dampeners, Z. You can turn these on, you can turn these off, and then you can set them relative to a targeted object. most people die at the beginning because they accidentally hit inertial dampeners when they meant to hit jetpack. We'll talk about this, but inertial dampeners are what make you slow down when you're no longer trying to move. So if you're moving forward at 100 meters a second and you stop pushing the forward key, inertial dampeners will then slow you down to a stop. If you do not have them on, it will let you keep moving. So broadcasting, that's your suit antenna, local power switch, on and off. You're not going to use this very often, but you'll see that when we'll talk about that. Lights on and off. You do have helmet lights. L. You'll hit enter to start putting anything in the chat screen. If you want to look at the terminal, K menu is K button is the way to go. You can access your inventory there. You can also, when you're at a inventory terminal, you can just hit I. Respawn is the backspace key. So say you get stuck somewhere and you can't get out, and you've tried everything. You can hit backspace. It will sacrifice your character. Your character will be recloned back at your nearest spawning point, and then you can hopefully go back and retrieve the items that you lost if you're not too far away. So, block placements. We'll talk about this, but go through these, kind of get familiar. When you're putting a block down and you're building something, you've got a vertical roll. That's page down and delete button. All the buttons above your arrow keys, so your insert, delete, home, end, page up, page down. That stuff is how you will maneuver a block that you're wanting to move. So to repaint a block, if you decide to change the color of it, the middle mouse button, or you're clicking your scroll wheel, not rolling your scroll wheel, but clicking it. Reset the orientation T. I don't use all of these. Toggling symmetry, this is more creative mode. Symmetry setup, again creative mode. Cycle placement modes, B. We will use that. Build planner, middle mouse button. That's add an item to your build planner. We'll talk about that. Cube size, R. I actually don't. I've never seen that used. Never used it. Toolbars. Your number keys are how you're going to switch from item to item. Control number key will switch to a new toolbar. Miscellaneous stuff you can go through, and these are some of the controls that you don't tend to get familiar with at the very beginning, but as you get more experience, you will. And then your view. Okay, so the F keys. Player control, F6. F6 may be the most important key because sometimes you'll accidentally hit a key and all of a sudden your camera will go from, your player's perspective at a very dangerous spot to all of a sudden you're out in space. Okay? F6 will get you back to your player's perspective. Okay? You can see you've got Delta Spectator. That's the one out in space, I'm pretty sure. Hold on a minute. No, Static Spectator is the one that typically takes you out into space. F8 is Free Spectator. If you do not have Spectator enabled in your game, when you start your game, this won't be available. It won't do anything. Delta, I'm not really sure what Delta Spectator is. I have to go. Anyway, your V button will switch between first and third person. You do not have to have third person enabled. Some people would like to do that for a challenge. Good luck. If you are inside a cockpit or you're in third-person view of a vehicle, holding the Alt button and moving your mouse around will allow you to look around. Screenshot key is F4. Turning your HUD off and on, and there are basically three different, at least the way that I typically play, there are three different versions of your HUD. You can have completely blank screen where there's no, there's no HUD controls at all, which is great for taking pictures. You just hit the tab key. You can cycle through the different groups. So one's going to provide all the information that's available, and then some of the information that's available, and then no information. Okay. H. Signal mode. You know what? I don't think I've ever used that. I have never used lock or unlock to entity. Nor camera mode, next player or previous player. I don't know if those are, yeah, that seems like a PvP thing or a co-op thing. All right, so that's the last word. Go through and get familiar with the controls of the game, even if it's just briefly, okay? And then, of course, credits, Keen Software. These guys are awesome. Excuse me. All right, so we'll back out of this. First thing you should do, go into those options, look through your character. You set your character up out here. This is how your character is going to spawn into the game. Okay, this is where you can choose whether you're a male astronaut or a female astronaut. Okay. You can come through here and change your player's base colors. Right, saturation value, there you go. Your hue, right? Okay. You can come in and choose whatever helmets you have available. If anybody needs any Badger helmets, I have a couple. You can't actually pass those off. You can't trade those. You can change the color and design to different parts of your suit. You can also do the same thing with your tools. You'll collect tools along the way and stuff. So, your grinders, there's your grinder, your drill, and your rifle. Okay? So you can change your character here, and that's how your character will start. In the game, there are some places, a med bay is one place you can go and update your character's appearance as you see fit. But besides a med bay, you would make any changes out here at the main window. Okay, now that I've gone on and on about that, let's go ahead and we're going to start a new game, beginning of survival here. And we're going to use these scenarios. Okay, these are from the game, come with the game. When you choose it, when you're making a new game, you can choose from a pre-built scenario from Keen. If you've downloaded scenarios from the Steam Workshop or Mod.io, I guess for consoles, I'm not sure. This is where they would be available, and then you can come up with custom games. Okay. So the scenarios are a good place to start to kind of learn. As you can see, one of these is called Learning to Survive. It's not a very difficult scenario, but you're going to restore an old outpost to act as your base of operations and explore the remains of a once thriving industry left behind. Learn about space engineering or pick a fight. The choice is yours. This is where your career begins. And all this is this puts you in a situation where things are going to be presented to you or challenges that are presented to you that you're going to need to overcome. And it will get you familiar with the different controls in the game. Some of these are more storyline based. The first jump is pretty storyline based. This one's Learning to Survive is kind of open-ended. You got to start, but then you can really choose what to do after that. Never Surrender is more combat based. Lost Colony, great storyline. Great storyline, incredibly done scenario. Challenging. and can take some time. Great scenario. Once you're more comfortable with controls and stuff, you're definitely, I would recommend doing Lost Colony. Frostbite. This is another fantastic scenario. This is not an easy scenario. This is one of the most difficult scenarios that they've put out. Okay. Space Standoff. I'm not sure. This one may be. That's a multiplayer scenario. Okay. Sparks of the Future is. It's not so much a scenario. It's a build where Keen was showing off really all the stuff that was added with the Sparks of the Future DLC. You can check that out even if you don't have the DLC. It's kind of cool. Just think of it as kind of like you went on vacation, so you're not really doing a whole lot. Uranium Heist is a PvP scenario with instructions there, and Scrap Race is similar to this. Came out with Wastelands. Pretty neat. Scrap Race is pretty neat. But let's see. Let's head over to custom games and take a look at some of the stuff we got here. Okay, so if you do a custom game, a number of different ways you can do this. You can choose to start on the alien planet. Asteroid Armory. So this puts you at this place. There may be an ongoing conflict at that time. All right. Crashed Red Ship. This is a good starter scenario. Not that difficult at all. You basically wake up. I think you wake up on the ship from cryo sleep, and the ship is crashed, and you've got to try to free what's left of the ship and escape. Real short. I mean, it's not that hard at all. It just forces you to use your head, engineer some solutions. So, not a bad one, but there's nothing really beyond that. Once you've freed the ship, rebuilt it to where it can be, where you can leave with it, there's really nothing after that. So, a good starter one. Dead Drop Arena, this is more like a PvP. An Earth Planet Start. Empty World, this is just open space with asteroids. That's it, no planets. Green Station, you start at this station. Lone Survivor, this is another decent one for beginning, I guess. You're out in space, you're alone. That's what it is. A Mars Planet Start, Moon Base, Pertum Orbiter, beautiful work they did in this. And I apologize because some of these I don't remember what the, if there's anything beyond, like if the Pertum Orbiter game has like a full star system in it or not, I don't recall. Red Ship, this is just, it's a number of different starting places that you could just start, and they're pretty open, but not all of them have full star systems. This bottom one down here, this is a blank slate star system. Okay, so, and that is your standard. It's gonna build the same way every time. All the planets are gonna be the same distance from each other every time you start a new game. Okay, but we're going to do a scenario. We're finally going to get this kicked off. We're going to do Learning to Survive. Okay, we're going to restore an old outpost at actual base of operations. I'm not going to go through the whole scenario with it because this one is open-ended, but we are going to go through it, see what kind of controls and stuff we may have to use. More than just a wandering around type thing, okay? All right, so I'm currently in third person. Using the Alt key, you can change your perspective, right? Your field of view there, right? For the most part, we're gonna hear it. Now, they do have these little orange spots that you see, tasks. all that kind of stuff. Those are, if I'm correct, I think those are GPS points. No, they're not. Okay, that's part of the custom built part of this scenario. Okay, so your keys right now. K opens your terminal. This is your current inventory. We have a welder, grinder, and a drill. Control panel. We are not connected to any equipment, so there's no control panel allows you to see all the different parts and components. When I say components, I'm not talking about parts that make up machinery. I'm talking about machinery and items that make up a facility. Production, we're not connected to any ship, so we're not going to do that. Information, this is about you, okay? Right now, just there's stuff around. Building a grid approaching inside a train automatically turns it into a station. Little couple things, right? Okay, nothing great. You don't really need to know about center of mass, gravity range, sensor fields, antenna range. None of that right now, okay? It's not that right now. This is not the port. Factions. There are space pirates out there. They will be hostile to us, okay? So you can start your own faction here. You can create a faction. Let's do that. The tag is only going to be 3 letters. It's limited to 3 letters. Okay? Then the name. If you click this little icon here, you can change your logo. Let's go there. I'm going to change the color. Okay. Go green. Let's see, we got green. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's going to be our logo. Okay. Now, public info. You can go in and put, you know, something that somebody else outside of your faction would be able to see. And then you got private information. Only members would be able to see. I'm not worried about this. We're doing so. But that information would show up here. So public info would be displayed here. Anybody could see that. Private info only, members only. Okay. And then you go in and whatnot. All right. Comms. We don't have Goodbot turned on. Global chat history is what we're at right now. So this is where you can go back and look at the historical chat during that particular play session. Okay. Now you can't go back into like a save game and go back and look at what the chat was in that spot, but you can just do it from your current playthrough. GPS. This is where we can create GPS markers. They're only visible to you unless you share them. If you happen to be playing in a game where you don't want to use antennas or beacons because they can attract unwanted attention, understandable. Our screen down at the bottom left here. Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Health is at the top. Oxygen is second. Power is the third. Hydrogen is the fourth. Okay. When your health runs out, you die. When your oxygen runs out, your health starts to go down until you die. If your power runs out, you can't use your tools, and your health starts to go down because it's keeping you alive. Your suit is keeping you alive. If you run out of hydrogen, you can't fly. And you can't stop if you were flying. So, all right, we're in space, so we have to keep our helmet down. If you look over here above our health bars, we've got a helmet icon there, jetpack. That little Wi-Fi looking thing is your antenna. Okay, and then you've got lights. So if we want to turn lights on, we turned our lights on. It's hard to see because we're in sunlight right now. If I open J, I'm going to open my mask and I'm going to start dying. Ugh. Okay, I started dying. All right. X, jetpack. Okay. Turn that off. You'll see next to to the right of our health and all that kind of stuff, we've got this little scope that is your speed. The game, without any mods, is capped at 100 meters a second. Next to that, you will see dampeners. This is what I was telling you about. Okay, so if we're going to put our jetpack on, and we're going to come up. Okay, if I turn off dampeners, I hit Z, and I push forward, I'm going to continue to move. If I hit Z, dampeners will slow me down to a stop. Okay, so we have an unknown signal up here. We are going to go grab that. It will have some valuable things in it, hopefully. We're going to need a grinder. We're going to fly toward that and turn off our dampeners so that we're not using any of our hydrogen. This allows you to save hydrogen. Okay, I'm going to get up to full speed here because I don't want to run out of oxygen on the way also. So as you can see, we're getting closer to that. Now we will need to turn our dampeners on before we get to it, so we don't run into it or fly past it. Okay. If you run into that at 110 meters a second, you'll die. Okay, you're not impervious to that. This particular unknown signal, if we were on a gravity planet, this thing would be, oh, it has a thruster on it. This is not going to be fun. It's going to try to get away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use this dampener thing. If you hit control, like I have my crosshairs on this thing and I'm within 100 meters of it. If I hit Control Z, you'll see my dampeners have turned to auto. Okay? I am dampened to that item now. So when it moves, I'm going to follow it. At least it should. It's going to try to fly away here in a second. It has a sensor on board. There it goes. It's flying away. We're moving. You can see our speed is increasing. But because we're dampened to it, it can't get away from us. We're going to hit F. You have to hit F. Do you notice all of these buttons on here are meant to be a distraction, a decoy? The button you want to push is the one that has this unknown signal icon on it, okay? You hit that. Let's get a new item. Oh, we didn't find anything. Now here's the thing. This thing is moving. It doesn't have a way to stop itself. So we are flying away from our base right now. So we want to hurry up and take advantage of what we have here. We need to find the container. There's the container. Now see how that highlights? You hit I for inventory, and then you double click on each of these. There's some construction components, and we got some space credits. Awesome. Now, we don't need this thing anymore, okay? We can grind this down and get the components from it. In fact, we should get this thruster because it's got really nice components. Let's take that. Okay, there's a battery in there. This is steel plate, buttons. You know, let's actually, we'll take the cargo container. How's that? And then we're going to leave this alone. So we're going to start flying back to our base. And once you get far enough away, your automatic dampeners will turn off. Okay, and you can do this. That's the production facility. That's not where we want to go. We need to go up here because we need to do these tasks first, I think. Yes, I think this is where we came from. Now that item is going to go flying through space until it gets far enough away that the game will automatically de-res it. Oh, no, we are not. Are we in the wrong place? Over here is where we started. There's a number of tasks that we're supposed to be doing here. So here we are. Oh, we are. Okay. Now, survival kit. We have a task. I don't know what this task is. The survival kit is what will refill your oxygen, your power, and your health, and your hydrogen, if it's connected to oxygen and hydrogen. Highlight that screen, hit the F key, that's the interaction. You'll see my health is going up, my power is going up. Oxygen and hydrogen are not going up. That means that they are not connected to this device. Okay? Gotta keep your power though. Alright. That task is start task. So we're gonna hit, this is okay. So we need to hit this. going to start the task. I got hurt. How did I get hurt? Allows you to recharge your energy. Oh, okay, so this will give you a general idea of what... This is how it's introducing you to the game. And that is a good bot survival kit tip up there. Okay. Power and health. Alright. Now we've completed that task. Fantastic. Connect it to the H2 or hydrogen and oxygen generator with the survival kit to recharge your hydrogen and oxygen. So that is our next task. Oh, and I see what's happened here. Green means we are connected. We got a container. We can actually put our parts that we collected in there. In fact, let's put everything. We're going to double click on all this. You can also hit this here and it will deposit all ores, ingots, and components for you. Okay. Oh, this is yellow. That means that there's a break in the connection. So we've got this piece here, this piece here. Oh, that's our broken piece. So we need to fix this. If we hold our welder over it, you can see, oh, we are missing some small tubes, 6 motors, and some interior plate to make that functional. Okay, so we need to find those items. You can go over here, and we're going to look for that. We need small tube, motors, and interior plate. I think we only needed 3. If you right-click and drag over, you can tell them exactly how many you want. 3. And then I needed, I think it was 4. And we needed, I think it was 6 motors. Now we have that. If we go back over here with our welder, wow, I got that just right. Awesome. So now you're going to use your left button to weld that up. Now look, light's green all the way across. Now if we go back here, you see our oxygen and our hydrogen get filled. Perfect. Okay, so we've completed that task. That's nice. What's this? Oxygen. Okay, let's start this task. F. Oh, I should have hit this before I started fixing that. Replenish your oxygen hydrant at the survival kit. Oh, okay. It knocked our hydrogen and oxygen down, so we have to go back. Now that we can come over here. And yay! Okay, so that is completed. Yes, okay. To refill bottles, which we may have here. Do we? No. Okay. Let's look inside. This is an access point. This is a terminal. This is an access point. From here, if you hit F or K, now we can see all the different items that make up this facility. As long as they're connected to each other, they're going to be on this. Okay. Gravity generator, you can turn this on, turn this off. Landing gear, there, the H2O2 generator. You can see how much power it uses. Okay. Inventory though. Ah, we have an oxygen bottle and a hydrogen bottle, as well as some ice. This is what's used to produce the hydrogen and oxygen. So we're going to take this oxygen bottle and this hydrogen bottle, and that is going to significantly extend our range. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we know about oxygen, hydrogen. What is next? Do we want to do the ship, or let's try to take care of the solar panels. In survival, these are the things you need to be concerned about. Power, oxygen, and health. Okay. You can have no jetpack and engineer a way to get to places you couldn't reach without a jetpack. If you run out of oxygen, you die. If your health gets too low, you die. If your suit runs out of power to keep you alive, you die. Those are the 3 things. So power, oxygen, and health. So you need to be able to heal yourself, keep yourself powered, and breathe. Okay, so let's click this to see what this solar panel task is. F. Solar panels generate power when in contact with the sunlight. Power is also stored in batteries. Repair the solar panels to generate more power. You can find tools and components in the cargo container on the platform. Use your welder to repair the solar panel. I have a welder. This is the panel. Ooh, we need a lot of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and repair it as much as it will let me. Oh, now it says I need more. Now we're going to show you a trick. Instead of trying to remember all these things that I need to grab, I'm going to hit the right mouse button. You'll notice here it says unique construction components complete, but it says those components are added to the build planner. See, components added to the build planner. Now if I hit G, this is my build planner. This is where I can choose what I want to have on my toolbar. Right? And you can see I got my tools right here. This stuff. This can all be removed. These can all be changed to customize exactly the way you want. This is what I've done. I've added the necessary or the pieces that we need to finish this to the build planner. Now I did it twice so I could show you the text, so I'm going to get rid of one of these because I don't need two of them. Okay, that's in the build planner now. Now if I go down to our inventory box here, our cargo box, and I hit my middle mouse button, it will draw out everything that is in that build planner. All components were successfully withdrawn. If you look at my inventory now, I have everything that solar panel needs to be fixed right there. I didn't have to remember I need so many components of this, I need so many components of this. No, it's right there. And look at that. Okay. Yep, I see that. Okay, so now we need to find another task. Oh, we have another unknown signal. At least it's not that far away this time. Let's go grab it. And we're going to be using our grinder. Turn off my dampeners so I'm not wasting fuel. Ooh, we have a space pirate out there. Oh, this one's not going to be able to fly away. At least. Okay. A cow helmet. Wow, that's pretty nothing. It's pretty nothing. Alright, so I'm going to need to drop this piece. Now, I want to get these little lights that are in here. If I were to just take away the panels, these lights would disappear and I would lose the components that they have. I particularly like these components, so. Oh, I bumped it. It's going to move now forever. See what we've got in our. We got more construction components and three space bugs. That was pretty neat. Let's see what I got. See that scrap? That 2 pieces of scrap? That came from grinding down the power cells. Almost everything in Space Engineers is completely recyclable. Like if you build something and you tear it down, you get 100% of the components it took to build back, except for power cells. And I show you that that's not entirely true, sorry. Except for power cells in batteries. If you have power cells in a hydrogen engine, you can get it back. That's the one. There might be other instances. Let's go ahead and drop this off. See our next task. Let's see, we've got the ship. Mining. Well, let's talk about mining. So if you look at our toolbar down here at the bottom middle of our screen, if we want the drill, we need to hit number 3. That brings up our drill. Now your drill has 2 controls. Left click is drill and collect. Right right click is drill for tunneling. It will not drop any of the ore to pick up. So if we go down here to our mining task, we'll see what it says. You can find ore inside asteroids and planets. Equip your drill to enable HUD markers to show nearby ore locations. Locate the drill and pick up some iron ore. Okay. So you notice if I look at that. For my welder, take a look at the screen. Grinder, look at the screen. No change. Drill. Iron. Do you see that? The iron and gold showed up there. You have an ore detector, a small little ore detector in your drill. So it'll tell you when you get within 35, 50 feet, maybe. Sorry, 30, 50 meters, maybe. That's actually further. Look at that. That's 102 meters away. That looks like it might be on another. Okay, so we need to get some iron ore. Now look, I want to try to demonstrate the difference between drilling and tunneling. All right, let's do this. If I drill, if I hit left button, see how those rocks fall down? Look at that. Now I can pick those up. They're highlighted. You hit F, and you'll pick them up. There, I just met that task requirement. There we go. So now we've collected some ore. You can put this iron in a basic refinery to produce iron ingots. It needs to be refined before it can be used to build anything. I'm not going to worry about that right this second. I'll put it there in a minute. I'm going to put it in the box, but I want to show you tunneling with the drill versus... Okay, so we're going to go to third person, change the view here, right? Got my lights on, right? And this is, I'm going to crouch there, so I'm down closer to the ground. C is for crouch or stand up. Left, you see how the rocks come out? Okay, builds a nice, pretty big, nice little hole there. Okay, let me collect those because I don't want them falling and hitting things and damaging them. I need to, come on guys, there you go. Let me get the ones that rolled down the hill. These can damage your ship if you run into them, so we don't want them just running around willy-nilly. Put them away. Now you notice I'm crouched right here. If I hold down the shift key, which is the run key, I will sprint, and then I'll crouch again. All right. That was left key.
Energy low.
We're gonna have to fill our suit here in a minute. Okay. Now if I right click, this is the tunneling. Watch, there's no rocks to collect. This is just to create a passage. Nice big hole, right? Get down. Oh, we need to get out of that hole now. Okay. Alright, so that's the difference between left click and right click with the drill. Let's fill up our energy here. Okay, so that's pretty much the basics as far as tools go. Well, we haven't really used the grinder yet, so I guess we'll see how that goes. With your drill, this is, like I said, there's iron here. There's gold, obviously, 102 meters away. There's also ice. Remember, you need ice to create oxygen and hydrogen. So ice is important. We're going to go ahead and harvest some ice and throw in our O2H2 generator. Make sure that that's good to go. I can show you some shortcuts for putting stuff in. If I want to dump everything I have into an inventory, if you hold down the Alt button and then hit the middle mouse, it will deposit everything in your inventory that can be deposited into that block in there. Or you can hit, of course, I, and then add the items individually. Okay. I'm going to put my space credits up here. Save that for vacation time. Our last task on this rock, I don't see any others on this rock, is our spaceship. This is a standard space pod. If you do a star system custom game, you can choose where you want to spawn, whether it be Earth, Mars, you know, it could be any of the planets that are there. You can choose to do it from a space pod. So you're out in space. You'll have, this is like the pod that you're flying around. That's how you start the game. Or you can do it from a suit. Depends on how challenging you want to make it. Suit only survival can be, it makes for an interesting start, but the moment that it only takes getting to a certain place where you've surpassed that initial challenge. F, let's see. The ship is locked to the platform with a magnetic landing gear. Find a way to unlock the landing gear through the consoles or use your grinder to destroy it. Note that turning it off will not unlock it. That's true, it won't. Let's see. We have block, block. Okay, so this landing gear is connected to this grid. Okay, which means if we go in here and we look in our, oh, there's the landing gear. Okay, landing gear, lock state, it's currently locked. So it said if you turn the block off, that will not unlock it. That's true, that just removes power to it while it's locked. It's still locked. This is how you would do that, lock or unlock. So when we hit unlock, this is gonna do just that. And because auto lock is not enabled, it will stay unlocked. If we put auto lock on and we hit unlock, you'll see this color on the right side change from green to light blue and then yellow, and then it will lock again. So let's take a look at that. Oh, we're yellow and click, it's back. Goodness. Okay. So it says try to fly the ship. Well, we can't right now because it's still locked. All right. But we're gonna, since we know how that works, we're gonna turn auto lock off. We're gonna unlock. And now it shows that it's ready to lock. That's what the yellow indicates. Otherwise it would be light blue. But this ship could be pulled away from there. So we could fly that around now if we wanted to. And we will do that. But this is probably as good a spot as any to pause, because from here we'll actually be using the ship to fly around, and we'll go visit some of those other places where there are tasks for us. This is our control seat, and this is our space pod. These are actually, I used to not like these, but these have actually become, these are really easy to modify into very capable, usable ships. It's nice. It's nice. So, but I think we're going to stop here for right now. Okay. We are going to save our game. You can save two different ways. You can, of course, hit save here, and you do want to save progress. Yes. Or, if you're done playing the game, you can hit exit to main menu, and it will ask you if you want to save. We're going to say no because we just did it with the other. And then the world's going to be unloaded. And the next time you come back, it'll be in your continue game. Or, say you've played something else, you know, another game, you have another save that you've played. You can come to load game. And this is where you're going to find your saved games. As you can see here, when it comes to the scenarios, you'll find those in these folders. And this is the one we were just in. So we'll click on that. You double click that because it's a folder. And you'll see that there's your save. Now, when we come back on our next episode, and we go to load this, I'm going to show you how you can change some of the base settings in the game. Right now we're just getting you used to working in the game, using the tools in the game, some of the key buttons for interface with some of the objects. But when we come back on our next episode, we're gonna, if you select this, you'll see how we can edit settings. We'll get into this. Okay? Awesome stuff. All right. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you liked the video. I hope it explained some of the basic key things, you know, the bare basic stuff, getting into the game, kind of getting the game set up for you. When we come back and we start when we go into the edit settings, you'll see where you can change some of the things that might take some of the grind out of the game. And I'm not talking about the actual grinding out of the game, because that's a key part of the game. We're building. Sometimes you got to break stuff to build it. But the grind. If there's anything that's probably more annoying than anything else in this game, it's drilling resources. So, and getting those refined and all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about those settings that can make that a little bit easier and less of a pain in the butt. And we'll go from there. Hope you guys liked it. If you do, hit that like button. And then you want to see the next video or anything else that we're putting out, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can find out when we got new stuff coming out. So for today, I appreciate it, guys. This is Dad Bear with Space Engineers Survival. You guys have a wonderful day. It's hot out there. Stay cool. Take care of yourselves. And hey, take care of others. Bye-bye.